Do you ever reflect on anything humiliating you did in the past and hope the earth would swallow you up as you repeat the event over and again? Perhaps you texted someone you loved and were simply rejected, or maybe you made a huge mistake at work in front of all your coworkers. What about that feeling? It's shame, a complicated combination of embarrassment, grief, and a sense of isolation that leads you to believe your mistake labels you as a poor or fundamentally flawed individual. Welcome to this summary of the book, I Thought It Was Just Me But It Isn't 2008. This is a guidebook to the intense and very human sensation of shame. This is written by Brené Brown, a social worker and scientist, has interviewed hundreds of individuals on the feeling of shame. She is a prominent speaker who has given TED Talks and written numerous books, including Daring Greatly and The Gifts of Imperfection. Here, we summarize the book into its 7 main ideas. 1. Shame is a perplexing and painful emotion triggered by rejection at sensitive times. Shame is a deeply painful emotion that stems from the belief that one is not good enough and that this shortcoming will prevent them from being accepted by and belonging to a group. It is a visceral emotion with difficult to describe characteristics, but it is rooted in a feeling of not being good enough. The author interviewed over 300 people about their experience of shame and discovered that it is connected to a sense of rejection and the exposure of aspects of ourselves that we tend to hide. Shame often arises when people seek compassion but experience rejection instead. For example, one participant in the author's study recounted how her mother persistently shamed her because of her weight, and the last words out of her mother's mouth would be about how she's still fat. Another participant whose mother committed suicide in high school was ostracized by her fellow students for being the daughter of a crazy lady who hung herself. A lack of empathy precipitates shame, and this is what will be explored next. Shame is a deeply painful sensation that stems from the belief that one is not good enough and that this shortcoming will prevent them from being accepted by and belonging to a group. 2. Empathy, or understanding another person's point of view without judgment, can help alleviate shame. Empathy is a powerful antidote for the feeling of shame, as it helps manage it effectively. Empathy is essential for quickly overcoming and recovering from shame, but it's not just about receiving it from others. Empathy is primarily felt by sharing a difficult experience with someone and hearing them say they understand. This makes you feel less isolated and more accepted. To achieve this understanding, you need to see things from the other person's perspective without passing judgment, which means being present and aware of their story. If you are bitten by a venomous snake, anti-venom can save your life. This is a vivid example of the numerous antidotes available to us, and happily, there is a powerful antidote for the sense of shame, empathy. Because everyone experiences shame, it is critical that we learn how to deal with it effectively. Every participant interviewed by the author of this book identified empathy as a key component in quickly overcoming and recovering from shame. Receiving empathy from others isn't the only necessary step. You also need to sympathize with them. Most people first encounter empathy after sharing a terrible event with another person and hearing them express their understanding. Knowing that another person has gone through something similar and that it is not rare or uncommon makes you feel less isolated and more accepted. However, in order to attain this knowledge, you must be able to see things from the other person's point of view without passing judgment, which requires you to be present and aware of their story. 3. Recognizing and understanding the source of shame is essential for dealing with it. Identifying and addressing one's own shame is crucial for both physical and mental health. Research has shown that those who can accurately describe their shame are better equipped to handle it. Some individuals may experience symptoms such as dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, redness, shaking, or even inability to get out of bed. However, recognizing and understanding the triggers of shame is essential for overcoming it. Shame is largely influenced by negative personal experiences from early in life. For example, Sylvia, who made an error at work and found herself on the company's loser list, was deeply triggered by her competitive father's belief that nobody likes losers. Being publicly shamed as a loser was deeply triggering for her. Understanding the triggers of one's own shame allows for a better chance of processing the emotion and emerging with a positive feeling. By taking a step back when the shame flares up, individuals can better process the emotion and emerge with a positive outlook. For critical awareness broadens our perspective on shame. On one occasion, while delivering a presentation on critical awareness to a pharmaceutical business, the author lost the attention of her audience. Rather of feeling ashamed or panicked, she just informed them that they were more interested in the pizza that would follow the presentation than in her discussion. She was practicing self-awareness. She went on to say that she was aware that they only had a brief lunch break and that the pizza was a significant incentive for them to be present at all. She demonstrated critical awareness by bringing this to our attention. This critical talent pertains to comprehending both why and how something happens. Critical awareness is essential for dealing with shame because it allows us to step back and reflect. After all, when we're ashamed, we can't think about anything else. Taking a step back allows us to see the social reasons of our shame and address them more quickly and successfully. For example, when we grumble about our frizzy hair, freckles, or the size of our stomachs, we may believe that we are the only ones who feel this way. However, attractiveness and body image are virtually always associated with feelings of shame. To comprehend these notions, we must examine society and its expectations of us. Not only that, but critical awareness helps us recognize when we are being influenced. By zooming in even further, we can see that there is a whole industry that feeds our negative thoughts about body image, and we consume its information in the form of publications and television shows. Such media causes us to feel ashamed, which is precisely what the business wants. This guilt is what drives us to spend so much money attempting to meet unachievable ideals of beauty and desirability. Naturally, the outcome of such a procedure is devastating. For example, over 7 million women in the United States alone suffer from eating problems. However, by seeing the larger picture, we may see how others suffer as well, normalizing guilt and softening its impact. 5. Connecting with people promotes healing for both parties involved. When feeling hurt or ashamed, it is common to retreat into ourselves, but connecting with others is crucial for healing from shame. Self-esteem is the opposite of shame, and forming and maintaining relationships is the most reliable way to make people feel grounded and sure of their value. Having friendships and support networks allows us to share our life experiences and learn from others' difficulties, removing isolation from shame and making it easier to manage. Helping others heal by reaching out to them can transform shameful experiences into positive ones. For example, a participant who was often shamed for her eccentric marital histories shared her story about her own family when she heard someone being judged for having a strange family. We all have weird families with their own imperfections, and it's only because we habitually lie about them that visible imperfections are met with ridicule. 6. The belief in perfection can lead to feelings of shame and hinder our ability to care for others. The illusion of perfection on TV is a shame-producing lie, as seen in the iconic 1980s character Alex in the movie Flashdance. The scene where Alex performs an incredible ballet and breakdance number is actually a combination of various aspects of her, including a professional ballet dancer, a top gymnast, and a male breakdancer. The false image of perfection is created through editing and polish, leading us to believe we should emulate these perfect humans. However, this illusion also makes it difficult to fill human roles, such as caring for an elderly parent. Caregivers often feel hard on themselves and disappointed by their feelings of resentment, as they are often overwhelmed by guilt and shame for not being able to do everything by themselves. To overcome these shameful feelings, it is essential to show the opposite of perfection, vulnerability. By accepting our own limitations in such situations, we can alleviate many of our shameful feelings and promote a healthier lifestyle. 7. Using anger to hide embarrassment is counterproductive and can exacerbate the situation. Anger is often used as a way to hide shame, as it can be a tempting tool for people to avoid confronting their feelings. Psychologists June Tangney and Rhonda Deering suggest that people can protect themselves from shame by projecting it outward and blaming others through a self-righteous burst of anger. However, anger can worsen relationships and alienate people who cannot understand where their anger is coming from. This isolation weakens the connection to the other person, producing more shame. Suppressing anger is not a solution, as it is a healthy emotion, but it should not be used as a mask for shame. If you're feeling shame, it's important to stay with it, describe it, and reach out to others. Focusing on perfection isn't a solution, and it's essential to avoid being trapped by shame. Instead, let yourself be vulnerable, turn to those around you to forge connections, and share the empathy needed to heal. By embracing vulnerability and letting go of unhealthy patterns, you can create a healthier and more fulfilling life. Our conclusion and insight: the book's central message is that everyone experiences shame, and it's inevitable we will feel it again. Instead of trying to avoid this reality, it's important to acknowledge and understand the source or causes of our shame, which broadens our perspective. This awareness enables us to deal with painful emotions constructively, accept and normalize them, connect with others, and maintain our self-esteem even after traumatic experiences. Rather than masking shame with anger or striving for perfection, we should avoid being trapped by it. By recognizing the origins of our shame, accepting our imperfections, and pursuing empathetic solutions, we can heal ourselves and support others. If you've done something shameful, accept it and seek forgiveness. If you've been wronged, accept others' imperfections and allow them room to grow from their mistakes. If you feel shame from rejection, seek connection and support from others, fostering mutual healing and letting go of the need of perfection. If you resonate with this video, feel free to add to the narrative on the comments section below. Please also share some love. Hit that like button and share this with others who may find it beneficial. Join us in this wonderful book journey by subscribing for free. Thanks for watching and see you in our next or other videos. Have a great day.